This quote reflects an inclusivist view, and actually comes from the Catholic Church, the Second Vatican Council in the mid-1960s, and argues that those who through no fault of their own do not know Christ or his church, but who nevertheless seek God with a sincere heart, and moved by grace try in their actions to do his will, as they know it through the dictates of their conscience, those too may achieve salvation. In effect, arguing that if a Buddhist is a good Buddhist and sincere in his beliefs, and never has the opportunity to receive Christ, then he too or she may be saved. This finally is a pluralistic view from Radhakrishnan, who was an Indian guru. He says that the kernel of every religion is one and the same. Rites, ceremonies, systems, and dogmas lead beyond themselves, and so have only relative truth, but they are not to be mistaken for absolute truth. They are used to communicate the shadow of what has been realized. Every word, every concept is a pointer which points beyond itself. The sign should not be mistaken for the thing signified. And so for him, what really matters is ultimate reality, and all religions are pointing toward that in their own limited, culturally conditioned ways, but the religions themselves should not be mistaken for the reality to which they are pointing. This is a quote from John Hick, which reflects the same basic idea, and says that the salvific process, so the process from his perspective of moving from self-centeredness to being focused on reality, is occurring in all religions. Okay, so for the purposes of this class, we're going to adopt a pluralistic perspective and methodology. As we study each religion, we'll assume that religion is true, and even if you don't believe it's true, again, your job as a student trying to understand the worldview is to assume that perspective. Our goal is to understand these religions, not necessarily to compare them to our own views, although that's certainly possible and can be illuminating, and certainly not to condemn them. It's also very important, despite this pluralistic approach, that we acknowledge and recognize that religions are in fact different. As we'll see very emphatically, they are not all the same. Alright, and just a couple of quotes which reflect this methodology. You find yourself able to pass over from the standpoint of your own life to those of others, entering into a sympathetic understanding of them, finding resonances between their lives and your own, and coming back once again enriched to your own standpoint. So the purpose of this class is not to convert you to a different religion or to undermine your own faith, but rather to enrich your understanding of the world and its diversity. The problem, Wilfred Cantwell Smith said, is how to enlarge one's vision of truth without losing loyalty to one's finite hold upon it. So this class may be challenging, but it's I think a constructive challenge, and one which can in fact deepen and strengthen your faith, if you have a faith, rather than endangering it. I want to talk now a bit about sort of an ethical consensus among religions. Every major tradition, as you can see from these examples, has some version of the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, as it was expressed by Jesus. And these appear to have arisen more or less independently. Here's examples from other traditions, which makes the point that this is a human universal, and something which all religions have in common and can agree upon. That reciprocity and compassion are central to faith. And Karen Armstrong, who's a religious scholar, has actually started a foundation which hopes to encourage people of different religions to acknowledge and promote this commonality, and which would make compassion the central purpose and goal, at least in terms of actions of different religious traditions, and allow religious people from across the spectrum to collaborate with each other on trying to achieve compassionate goals and to reduce human suffering, and to be united against common enemies, instead of becoming fixated and hung up on the differences between them.